Is your Rolls-Royce too soft and quiet and putting you to sleep? Is your Ferrari too aggressive and firm and hurting your back? If that describes you, you should take a look at one of these, the Bentley Continental GT. The Bentley Continental has been a staple in the lineup for over 2 decades now, a luxury two-door that has a really good blend of luxury but still enough sportiness. And it's gone through some pretty major changes recently. As you can see, new styling and some news. All Bentley Continentals are now plug-in hybrids. And before you lose your minds and panic, don't worry, it's a twin-turbo V8 plug-in hybrid. So while we mourn the loss of the W12, we at least still have a twin-turbo V8 to enjoy, and these things are seriously fast. This one is a Continental GT S, which actually sits right in the middle of the lineup. There's 5 different trims. You have the entry-level Continental GT, then the Continental GT Azure, this GTS, you have the Speed, and the Mulliner. And as you step up through the different tiers, you add power and luxury and different things like that. So the GTS is actually nicely in the middle. It doesn't have the ultra-high output plug-in hybrid powertrain that the 2 top-tier trims have, but this thing is still 671 horsepower. And it's quick. Also has some pretty cool chassis tech. We've got active anti-roll bars, rear steer. It is potentially one of the ultimate daily drivers if you have $350,000 to spend. This one here is optioned to 350 grand. It being a Bentley, you check a couple options boxes and you add 50 grand to the price. So if you can afford it, it's pretty spectacular. And we're gonna spend some time living with this Continental GTS to see what it's like. All right, let's talk about the powertrain. Like I mentioned, RIP W12. Our constellation here is a twin-turbo V8 plug-in hybrid. Now, this 4-liter twin-turbo V8 does share its roots with other Volkswagen Auto Group performance brands. You look at Porsche, Audi. Here it makes 512 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque. You combine that with the electric motors from the hybrid system for a total system output of 671 horsepower and 686 pound-feet of torque. Now, that's a plenty solid power number. If it's not enough, you can go up to the Speed or the Mulliner, which adds like an extra 100 horsepower, but 0 to 60 is in a low 3-second range. We have all-wheel drive, rear biased. We've got a limited slip differential. We've got active anti-roll bars. We've got a sports exhaust. This GTS, S for sport, is the most balanced, like driver-focused iteration while ignoring the super sports, which is a whole different world. Super sports is, I want to drive one of those because they dropped the hybrid system, twin-turbo V8 rear-wheel drive. That thing is cool, but the GTS here with this twin-turbo V8 plug-in hybrid is pretty potent. Now, other powertrain things. We have a 8-speed dual-clutch transmission because, you know, platform sharing, you could say this is a very fancy Porsche Panamera. It's got a PDK, right? But we have an 8-speed dual-clutch, all-wheel drive. The electric mode is actually very usable. So it's a 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and you can go up to like 87 miles an hour in all-electric mode when you first start off, and it's useful. I mean, if you want to leave home and not wake your family up, right? If you want to just run short errands and just go in all electric mode and plug it back in. But then if you're doing a road trip, you can just fuel up and use that twin turbo V8 and not worry about charging. So it does give you some added flexibility. The range ratings are a little bit different, right? So 25.9 kilowatt hour battery pack. On the European test cycle, it's said to be 50 miles. On the US one, I think it's like around 30. So we'll see what I actually see in terms of usable EV range, but it just gives you different things you can play around with, and of course still plenty of performance. This is a pretty cool 2-car solution. We've got the Bentley Continental GTS and an Acura NSX Type S. Color on this thing is spectacular, but the dark blue on this Bentley, definitely classy. This interior is such a cool color combination. Look at the S logo. We were showing 50 miles of electric range. Press the Bentley B and into drive. Look at how many physical buttons there are here in the center console. That's actually really nice. Wafting around in electric mode, which is very Bentley-like. Bentleys and Rolls-Royces, EVs do lean themselves to the personalities, but luckily we still have a twin-turbo V8 if you want to fire that up. All right, so we're gonna be out and about today in the Bentley. We're heading to one of my friend's garage complexes. They have a little cars and coffee this morning, and then we're gonna go get hot pot, which I'm very excited for because I love hot pot. And we'll see what else we need to do today. Probably some more filming, some work around the house. And then tomorrow, my wife Angel is currently in Denver for a work conference. She is flying home, so I'm gonna go pick her up from the airport in the Bentley, and we'll do date night. So should be a fun week.
If you would like to use the online recognizer, please agree to the license agreement.
I know, I said the B word. Cancel, go away. Dang, 67 mpg, but you know, I want to hear the V8, so I'm going to toggle from Bentley mode into sport mode. Oh, and the V8 just fired up. It goes into hold. It was prioritizing EV drive mode. It defaulted to Bentley mode. We have an actual Bentley drive mode. That's what the little B right there is. That's what it starts off in. Sport, Bentley, Comfort, Custom. Oh, that V8 actually sounds pretty good. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to punch it right now because that was the first time the V8 just cold started, even though I've been driving for a couple minutes already, right? Because when I left home, pulled out of the garage, it was all electric mode. So I was about to floor it. I'm like, ooh, no, that is not good for the engine. So that's one of these things with the plug-in hybrids, because you have usable electric mode. You kind of got to be patient before you get on the engine because it's still a gas-powered engine and you don't want to just floor it when it's cold. Look, a Bentley friend.
What is the sticker price on this vehicle?
Take a guess.
Let's go 400,000.
You're high, 350.
350?
Bargain.
Okay.
Value.
Dude, it sounds very throaty.
Yeah, it's got a twin turbo V8. I'll put it in a park.
Holy schmoly. That's
Not
pretty.
bad. Yeah,
I like
it's
the
nice.
color of the interior.
The interior, look at, oh, this is one of my favorite things. I don't know if you've seen this in a Bentley before, but we have an infotainment screen, right?
Yes.
But what dates the interior of a car? The screen.
Yeah.
So imagine 20 years from now, we don't want to be looking at this crappy screen, right?
Right.
So I could do this. And now I just have these beautiful gauges. Outside air temperature.
Oh my God.
It gets even better. Wait, there's more. If I press it,
It's a triangle?
it's a triangle. I could cycle away from the screen and it's just matching carbon trim all across. This is one of my favorite luxury car Bentley features.
That is gangster.
Yes. Wrapping up cars and coffee, the Bentley was actually quite a hit. A lot of interest, people coming to check it out. Did some RC car racing, which was a lot of fun. They're taking the track down now. Oops. This thing looks properly muscular too. Take a look at this shoulder line right here and the dark sapphire blue. It's like a blue, really dark blue, but in certain lighting it actually looked a little purple. And we've got the new tadpole lights. Still not sure if I like the tadpole lights or the previous double oval crystal lights. But this interior also was a hit. People were very, very intrigued and interested. They're also very surprised to hear it's a plug-in hybrid, but at least it's with a V8. Fired it up for a couple people. They heard the rumble. Down to 46 miles of electric range. Jason's 4Runner's parked over by the street, so we're gonna give him an Uber ride over.
Oh, look, it's so luxurious. I don't know if I want to get the floor mats dirty.
This actually has the more expensive high pile, like shag carpets.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like your living room.
Fancy, isn't it? Yeah.
Woo!
I am so full. Hot pot was delicious. Everybody really liked the Bentley. My buddy Jason, his son, actually just hurt his ankle, but I took him for a ride here. His first time ever in a Bentley. He was very, very interested and very, very impressed. He said it's so smooth and quiet. And then we were arguing whether it's worth $350,000. But when you're buying a car like this, it's not like a rational, like worth it, justify it. Imagine your net worth right now and then add 2 zeros on the end. So it's like, that's you have to be in that kind of mindset. Like you lease this thing for, call it, $4,000 a month. If you're making 50 grand a month, what is 4,000 a month, right? It's that kind of buyer for brand new Bentleys. They're usually very, very wealthy. I am not a brand new Bentley buyer. Anyways, we've got some severe thunderstorm warning, so I'm actually gonna get home and possibly pass out from a food coma. So I recently drove a used Continental Flying Spur with a plug-in hybrid powertrain, but that was the Audi corporate Porsche family 2.9 twin turbo V6 with a plug-in hybrid system, and a V6 does not belong in a Bentley. It just doesn't have the same feel of at least the V8 or the W12, right? So W12 is gone now. Luckily that V6 hybrid is gone. It's just the V8 plug-in hybrid. That works. I think this works. That V6 plug-in hybrid Bentley, I was not a fan. So leaving in Bentley mode, see, that is all electric acceleration. That gets up to speed. That's very much usable. Was it the fastest thing? Absolutely not, but you can 100% merge up to the flow of traffic in electric mode. For fun, I'm gonna plug this into a regular wall outlet and see how much charge we can get. Press the B, and the trunk opens, and we have a charger back here. This is a fancy charger. We've got a Bentley logo, and just a regular wall outlet, and there we go, plugged in, and charging. Green light means go. Cooling system's going pretty hard. Gonna go out and do a bit of filming, so we're gonna go ahead and unplug. It charged up a quarter of the electron tank. That's not bad. It was only a couple hours. So even on a wall charger, I'm pretty sure overnight it would charge the full. Let's take a look at the exterior design of this Bentley. So this paint color is called Dark Sapphire. It's a very, very dark blue that under not as bright lighting almost looks black, but then you've got that dark blue metallic flake. Under certain lighting, I've actually noticed a little bit of purple sheen to it, but it's a very nice paint color. And when you order a Bentley, you can obviously choose pretty much any color you want. The choices are essentially endless. This is on the more classy, more subtle, darker side. You can do brighter colors. There's so many different ways you can option a Bentley. As a GTS, the sportier trim, this one has the black line specification as standard. And what that means is all of the trim, the grills, the badging, everything are blacked out. No chrome on this one. So the black mesh grille here, all of the accents and everything, including the Bentley logo, the flying bee there. Now, one thing is, in the grille, you do notice some sensors and cameras. That's just a concession to, you know, modern tech creature comforts, driver assistance systems. So they do a pretty good job trying to hide it in the black, but you can still kind of see it right there. Not the hugest deal. We do have a little S badge right here on the front fender for the GTS. It's actually rather subtle blacked out on this very dark blue paint. And these are 22-inch wheels with the machine contrast right here. And we also have some absolutely enormous brakes. Look at those calipers and the rotor size. These are just regular steel brakes, but huge brakes. 22-inch wheels, and this right here, the floating center cap, right? So it's weighted, so that means the Bentley, the B always stays upright. Even when you're driving, when you park, on all the wheels. This is a $785 option, so I think it's worth it because it's really cool. Also, this is kind of fun. Spinny. Anyways, headlights. Let's talk about the headlights. So, for the longest time, the Continental had the double oval look, right? And the crystal pattern and details inside Bentley headlights have been one of my favorites. Now, they have updated the styling, and now it looks like a tadpole to me. That's how I first described it when I saw it. Or maybe like an eyelash or something like that coming there. So, it got the big oval with a little horizontal wing coming off. It looks like a tadpole, doesn't it? Anyways, you still have a lot of really cool crystal details here. Up here, take a look at that. And then down below, the little three-pointed Y pattern. That actually kind of reminds me of Lamborghini. Lamborghini loves using that kind of Y motif all over their design. But an evolution to the look of the Bentley headlights. They're still very fantastically detailed. They look so amazing. Coming along to the side, I really like the strong shoulder line right here. And here's a funny quirk. A couple friends pointed it out, but right here we've got the fuel door, which is like on the shoulder. And then over here, this is a door for the charger, which doesn't match, right? It's kind of larger, it's further down. Some cars, they look exactly the same. This one, they're asymmetric. So gas goes in here, electrons go in over here. We've got the boot back here. It's British, so I have to call it the boot. You press on the B logo, and that's how you open it up. We've got date night later. I'm picking up my wife Angel from the airport, so I got some stuff packed away in here. Go ahead and close that. And then the taillights have also been refreshed. They've got this crystal look to them too. Kind of a smoked finish with the red shining through. Still looks really fantastic. The logo's back here, the lettering, everything that's blacked out. Got the big exhaust tips down here. This thing is a very, very good looking luxury coupe. A nice blend of like a muscular stance with the big 22-inch wheels, everything blacked out, but enough of that elegance and luxury. I am a big fan of the styling for sure. I'm in sport mode, and going through these roundabouts, you can really feel those active anti-roll bars working their magic. It keeps the body so flat and composed. So essentially it's a 48-volt system that just resists the lean. So if you're taking a left, it pushes it up, and then you just stay flat, planted, and level. It's actually pretty cool. This kind of tech started coming out when mild hybrids became a thing. I remember, was it a GLE 63 AMG? Like, it really works magic on like SUVs because they have even higher center of gravity and more body lean. And when you take a turn and it just kind of stays level, you're like, whoa, it's kind of bizarre. But this one has it. The Bentley, it's the anti-active body handle something. It keeps the body flat. That coupled with rear steer. Oh, and a twin turbo V8? Yes, please. This one earns the S in the GTS. You hear some of those rumbles too. Oh, that is a fast downshift. And this isn't even the fastest or the sportiest one. You go up to the Speed or the Mulliner, it's like an extra 100 horsepower, extra 100-something pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 drops in like low three. It's like 3.10 to 60. And then the Super Sports is going to be, well, the super sporty one, right? Rear-wheel drive, no hybrid system whatsoever. It's I think it's like the lightest Bentley in I don't even know how many decades, right? They just stripped out everything. I don't think it even has back seats, but the Super Sports is like the really hardcore one. And Bentley has a history of doing this. You might be like,
if
whoa.
you would like to use the online recognizer, please agree
no,
to the
cancel.
license agreement.
I keep getting interrupted by the car. The brand from England that starts with a B and makes this car, they have a history of doing like really sporty things. They have racing heritage, but think back, a couple previous generations, we've had Super Sports. Remember the GT3R? That thing is so cool. I always get excited when I see one of those. Very, very rare. And I'm excited to see the B word, Bentley. Oh, it didn't trigger this time. Continue to push into more sporty stuff. Remember when they did the Pikes Peak? I remember being in Monterey Car Week and seeing the whole wrapped liveried Continental Pikes Peak like race car thing. Look at that. Freeway speeds in all electric mode. Tachometer on the left is at 0 RPM. Very usable electric mode. It'll do up to like 87 miles an hour, which I think is exactly the same as the Urus SE, which is also a plug-in hybrid powertrain. I'm assuming they're very related in both of these vehicles, the Bentley and the Lamborghini Urus SE. So we've been doing 46.2 mpg, which I'm actually kind of impressed by. 75 miles driven this week so far. I have been plugging it in at home just to a regular outlet in my garage. There we go, fuel efficient Bentley. The amusing thing is when you're shopping for a $350,000 car like this Bentley, do you actually care about the cost of gas? I can't imagine you do, right? It can't even make the top 10 list of important priorities when you're shopping for a car when it's this expensive, right? So yeah, plug-in hybrid, you can get it. I mean, maybe there are people buying Bentleys brand new who want to save money on gas. Very, very possible. There may be a dozen of them out there, but you know, this is more so the story of flexibility of use and also performance. And in EV mode, it is very smooth and quiet. This is a very comfortable highway cruiser. Hi, honey.
Hello.
Welcome to the Bentley Continental GT S.
Thank you very much.
I think we've one-upped your airport Uber pickups.
No, what was that other car? It was a supercar that we had that you picked up.
Oh, I picked up in a McLaren.
Yes.
This costs more than the McLaren.
Really?
Yeah, the McLaren
God.
Arturo Spider. This is more expensive.
Wait, how much was the McLaren? Do you remember?
McLaren was just under 300,000, I want to say.
So this is more than that?
Or maybe it was like 330. This one's $350,000.
Dang. Okay.
Dang indeed. Post-dinner coffee obtained. The paint on the Bentley actually is alarmingly close to the paint on this F-150. You said what?
This looks like eyeliner on the Bentley.
Yeah, it's like an eyelash.
Like white eyeliner.
That's a new headlight design. I think it looks like a tadpole.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you like it?
It's interesting. It's different.
It's like super crystally
Yeah.
too. Oh no, I don't have any hands. I've got coffee and camera.
You only get my door on camera.
That's not true. You just locked the car.
Oh, I did. Oops.
This is the home turf of the Bentley. Birmingham, Michigan. This is where you come to feel poor, because even if you're driving a Bentley, there'll probably be 15 other ones. This is a very, very nice suburb downtown area. We're gonna go for a walk. You know, enjoy the nice weather. It's actually not insanely hot today, and we need to walk off some of our lunch. Let's see how long it takes for us to see a Bentley. Is that a GT3? GT3 Touring. Rolls-Royce Spectre. Standard sport exhaust gives us a nice rumble. Ooh, Maserati MC20. That's a really nice color.
It sounds like a McDonald's Happy Meal name. Am I gonna get hate for that?
No. I think you're gonna get love for that because that's hilarious. Well, that's actually the joke. So they replaced the MC20 with the MC Pura, but it's like McPura.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like when they were joking, literally came out. It's like it's a Maserati Happy Meal. So this one is also an S, but it's a pre-refresh. If you take a look at the front end, the headlights, it's got like the quad crystal, the 4 circular oval ones. This is the second A12 GTS we're seeing in the span of 5 minutes. First one was white. This one is, well, obviously red. Welcome to downtown Birmingham. That Rolls-Royce has been sitting there for a very long time. Looks like the air suspension is completely vented and or collapsed. Off to go watch a movie. We're gonna go see The Odyssey, and because it's getting dark out, you can see some of the ambient lighting can obviously change the colors. Currently set to this blue tone, and there's some glow down in the footwell too. Should be a really good movie. I've heard very good reviews about it. This is such a cool option with the rotating screen. Now we've got these 3 dials here instead of the infotainment screen, but we still have our directions and the cluster, also the heads-up display. So you still have plenty of modern tech, but then you can hide it away with a nice little analog touch on the interior of your very, very modern cutting-edge Bentley. It's really cool. And we have, of course, the dash clock down there, which is illuminated. We've got some puddle lamps, which is actually an option that you have to check. And then the illuminated door sill plates right there, and a little S logo. 55 miles is the estimated electric range. That's actually very impressive / potentially optimistic. I figured out how to give this thing some revs because a lot of cars now have soft limiters when you're in park. So let me go ahead and toggle into sport mode to fire up the twin turbo V8. There we go. So if you're in park and you give it some revs, there's a soft limiter right at like 3,000, right? But the trick here is if you put it into neutral and then keep a foot on the brake so it doesn't roll away. Still a little bit of a soft limiter sometimes, but one sec. There we go. Pretty beastly sounding twin turbo V8 with the sport exhaust on the GTS. Let's take a look inside because there are so many things to show you because this is a rather feature-rich vehicle. But first, the spec. This is Imperial Blue with Gravity Gray, so it's a really dark blue with the gray contrast. We've got suede, leather, stitching, the Bentley logo embossed on the headrest. The seats are massage, heated, and cooled. Lots of adjustability. It was a pretty expensive option. And the massage setting is actually, there's a lot of different functions, and it's really, really nice. We have a S here on the door sill, and it says handcrafted in Crewe, England, with the illuminated Bentley door sill right here. And some of the details are so cool. You see the Bentley logo there on the brake pedal. We've got the name sound system right here. That's the upgrade one, which is just over $10,000. It's a pretty good sound system. It's one of Bentley's high-end ones. And then everything is leather. Literally everything is covered in like stitched leather. So the door pockets, inside the door pockets, that's all leather. We got memory seats. That's how you open the fuel door, your trunk button. This is all surrounded in blue leather with nice stitching here, and then carbon fiber, gray leather stitching. The carbon trim, it works here on the S. This is like the more sporty one, right? Sometimes on these ultra luxury vehicles, I prefer like wood grain, but here, the more sporty driver focused one, yeah, carbon fiber trim is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and step inside. So all across the dash right here, you get an S logo right there. And then the screen. So underneath, this is an Audi MMI system, which means it just works really well. They reskin it. BMW does the same thing with Rolls-Royce, right? It's an iDrive system in a Rolls-Royce, which just means it works. I've got the hybrid system pulled up here. You can kind of see some information, 31 miles of range remaining. The carbon trim continues from the door across to the dash here, and I actually don't mind the carbon trim on this. Usually with these ultra luxury vehicles, I prefer the wood trim with you can see the open pore grain and things like that. But this one with the GTS, the more sporty driver focus dynamic, it works. And then we have some high gloss black trim here, which I'm usually not a fan of this really glossy piano black finish because it just shows every little bit of dust and fingerprints and specks of whatever, but it's not the entire center console because we have this whole bank of buttons that's got this more matte satin finish here. We have some of the high gloss black around, and we have the Bentley dash clock, which is always really, really cool. Again, it's not Breitling branded anymore. I swear they used to be actually Breitlings, but now it's just a Bentley there, but it's still just a really cool touch. And then the air vents. Now, I'm going to be super picky, but I seem to recall these used to be all metal, right? Because like the outer ring is still metal. So like these, you can pivot them around, and this is metal, cold to the touch, very solid. Like when you tap it, you can feel that it's just solid metal. But these are plastic with like a little bit of trim on the front, and this is for directing airflow up and down. And I thought I remember previous Bentleys, it was all metal, the outer ring and the little veins here, or maybe a mixing of Rolls-Royce. Regardless, that to me is something like you fiddle with sometimes to change airflow. Kind of wish it was all metal. And then we have the little plungers here, right, for changing. This opens and closes your airflow, which is very satisfying. The feel of resistance there is really cool. That's nice. And then here we have a physical button for everything. Our heated, cooled seats, our airflow, the airflow direction, our defrost. Like, it's an actual button, which is such a relief. We have two little rotating dials, really nice metal knurling on the sides, with a little screen for our temperature. And this is just so satisfying to see because there's so many luxury brands now that are just touchscreen everything. Mercedes, like, you want a button? No, here's 4 more touchscreens instead. And like, this is just so nice. I am such a big fan of this. Although, what was supposed to go here? I've seen some pretty high option cars, and this one's a high option one, right? 350 grand, and it just has the Bentley logo, like it's empty. On this side, parking brake, hazards, traction control. If you're right-hand drive, like in the UK, this would just be mirrored over, right? Or parking brakes here, and then this would be on this side. So I think it's still kind of funny that on a $350,000 Bentley, there are some blank buttons. We've got the E-mode control. Let me show you that. Let me go back to the screen. Thank you very much. So if you press that, it pulls up our hybrid driving modes. You can go all electric, hybrid kind of blends the two of them. Hold simply holds the current level, so it uses the engine to make sure your hybrid battery stays charged up, and charge is actively going to be putting electrons into the battery pack. So that's what you can use to change that. This is our like driver assistance stuff. This pulls up our various cameras, which of course are very plentiful, high resolution, plenty of modern tech, creature and comforts in this thing for sure. And then this right here is how we change our drive modes. You start, stop in the middle, and then we have a Bentley drive mode. That's the default: sport, comfort, custom. I've been using Bentley sport when I'll have some fun, and comfort just cruising on the freeway. You can set up your custom if you want. And look, the shifter even has that gravity gray leather trim. You press the big Bentley B on top to go into drive or reverse, and then parks right here. And every single time, so like every single time I say the B word, because I'm signing in as a guest, I don't think it remembers that like I don't want it to say, hey Bentley, so disable you. Every time I turn the car on and off, it keeps doing that. But anyways, center console right here. Now storage is not the most plentiful. We've got 2 cup holders right here, and then the center console. So this is a wireless phone charger, and then a tiny little storage bin here. This reminds me of also my Audi A8L. That was one of my big complaints. Like for such a big car, there wasn't a ton of center console storage, right? So like if you have 2 beverages there and the phone, like we've got sunglasses and I have a camera and other things like that. So it's not the most practical, although there's this little like side pocket here on either side, which I have discovered is convenient for kind of slotting my phone right there. You can put maybe sunglasses case. I currently have my sunglasses case here on the left, but look at everything trimmed to leather, even the back side of this is leather. I can feel it, right? So even if you can't actually like physically see, it's leather. So nice. Absolutely amazing. Now the steering wheel, the Bentley logo right in the middle, some bright work here, and the knurling like on the edge of these, what are these called? Turn signals. I forgot what those are called for a second. Our cruise control stuff. This is like metal with this diamond knurling pattern. Even the little rotating little dials for your volume up and down are this little diamond pattern knurling, and you can feel the texture. The back of the metal paddle shifters, like that just sounds and feels high quality. So are these things some Audi buttons and switchgear and stuff like that? Yes, but then they just make it very high quality by just plating it with metal or just making it out of metal. So that's really nice. And I like the gray and blue contrast. What I don't like is suede on a steering wheel. I am not a fan of the suede Alcantara material on high touch surfaces. On the headliner and things like that, absolutely, it looks really, really nice, but you're not touching that all the time. Steering wheel you touch all the time. Are your hands perfectly clean all the time? Mine aren't, right? You get oils and sweat and it gets matted down. You can take care of it and clean it, and if you can afford this, you probably have the top tier detailer come in and clean your car every single week, but I'm personally not a huge fan of that. Seats are very, very comfortable, of course. Back seats are not the most spacious, practical looking. In a pinch, you could probably put an adult back there, but if you need more space, get a Flying Spur. That's the sedan sibling to this thing. It's only a 4-seater, but this thing is really the GT, the Grand Touring 2-door for your passengers up front. This bank of buttons is kind of shortcuts for your infotainment, an actual volume knob, which is very satisfying and nice. And go back home, use these kind of shortcut buttons. That's pretty self-explanatory, but that's a quick tour of the interior. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm missing. Passenger also gets memory seats, which is always really nice. Headliner is suede. I showed you guys that. No digital rearview mirror, just a regular reflecting mirror. Door handles feel very nice. Also, there are a lot of... Initially, when I got in the car, I'm like, what am I fiddling with? So, like, we got, like, the bolsters, right? Adjusting that. Those are massage seat controls. Also, check out the key fob. So, we got the big Bentley B with the Bentley lettering, and it's got this little matching gray leather case for it. It comes in a box. There are 2 of them. I think I put it in the trunk. But you have this little protective case for your Bentley key fob. It has a little cutout so everybody can see my gigantic Bentley B logo. So, when you set your key down at dinner on the table, table. The waiter knows you drive a Bentley. But it's this little like protective pocket and just 3 buttons. We got lock, unlock, and trunk open. Pretty simple. Although I feel like this should be like the lock button or something, right? It's just such a big giant thing. I feel like I should press that and the car locks. But they're on the back and it comes in this little protective pouch thing, which I think is pretty cool. Inside he's got this gloss black and chrome silver key. Let's see a little bit of like diamond pattern on the side, but pretty nice key fob. All right, let's go for a drive and wrap up final thoughts on what it's been like to live with this Bentley Continental GT S. This being a brand new, well-optioned Bentley, you of course expect it to be very nice, and it is. At $350,000, it is to be expected. Now, I do have one complaint which I will get to, but first, general takeaways, overall thoughts. The Bentley Continental GT, especially as the S version here, is a bit more firm and dynamic. Sometimes when you think about these top-tier executive luxury vehicles, the big sedans, a Rolls-Royce, S-Class, Audi A8, the BMW 7 Series, what they do really well is they waft. They float along. You're completely isolated from the outside world. It's like riding on a cloud. Now, this one here doesn't deliver that aspect of the experience. This is actually rather dynamic and athletic, and as a result, the trade-off is it does ride a bit more firm. It's not uncomfortable, it's not harsh, it's just more firm and planted, but it actually handles surprisingly well for, again, still being a big luxury coupe. So it is pretty heavy now with the hybrid system. It gained a couple hundred pounds as everything is getting heavier and heavier. See that Maybach going by? That'll be even more floaty and cushy, but that thing wallows. If you start taking turns in the regular versions of those big luxury vehicles, man, there's a lot more body roll. You're like, whoa, the brakes are a lot more not spongy, but there's so much more travel, right? The first time I hop into like a Rolls-Royce, I had to recalibrate my braking because it's like set up for your chauffeur to be able to be as smooth as possible so your tea or your champagne doesn't spill or something, right? So it has to be so long travel and smooth, whereas this is actually fairly athletic. So we've got a lot of serious hardware. We've got the variable all-wheel drive, we've got limited slip differential, we've got active rear wheel steering, so when you're making a lower speed turn, the rear wheels turn out of phase, so it makes it pivot, so it feels much more nimble, it shortens your turning radius, and then when you're at higher speeds, it turns in phase, gives you more stability, it virtually lengthens the wheelbase. Rear steer is fantastic. We also have the active anti-roll bars, which I've kind of shown you. It keeps it planted and level. And the dynamics of this thing are seriously impressive. And it's also very fast. I'm currently cruising around in electric mode. That's what Bentley mode defaults to. But let's go into sport. The twin turbo V8 fires up. And man, dude, the torque that this thing puts out, it is pretty beastly. 686 pound-feet of torque combined, and you feel it. I mean, off the line, this thing is just a rocket. It is seriously fast, again, for something this big and heavy. And when you start hitting some turns, it does a pretty good job. Now, it's still, again, big, heavy. You've got physics still, and I've taken some turns like, whoop, tires aren't happy right there. Yeah, but for a vehicle of this class, this definitely probably is the most driver focused. Now you can go look at like a S63 AMG Coupe, which they don't make anymore, right? That's the outgoing one. Honestly, this kind of reminds me of the feel of like an Aston Martin DB12, where it has a lot of that luxury, but still has that muscle and performance underneath. But this has all-wheel drive. It feels even more torquey and just a bit more solid. This might sound weird, and I don't know if Bentley likes me saying this, I don't know, but it kind of feels like it would be a Panamera coupe or like an Audi RS7 coupe. So some of that platform feel, some of the buttons and things like that do show through, and the behavior and the feel that a twin turbo V8 obviously is in the same family transmits through, and it just would be like a smaller two-door version of one of those performance, more athletic luxury sedans. That's kind of what it kept coming to mind, and overall, I think this is a fantastic daily driver. I have loved getting into the Bentley, just going to run errands, going out for a nice drive, date night with my wife. It looks so good. Angel took it for a brief little drive, and I was in her Macan, and I was watching it follow behind me. I'm like, man, that thing looks good on the road. I like the black line specification here with the S. Everything gets blacked out, and the new headlights design is growing on me. I still think I like the old crystal look. I've seen some pre-refresh ones all over as we're driving driving around, and I still think I like the look of those headlights a little bit more. It's just more classic. That's what comes to mind when I think about a Bentley, but this is a new evolution of the front face. I love the interior, the rotating screen. If you're gonna buy one of these, I absolutely think you should get this triple rotating screen. Let's go back to screen. I'm gonna do the gauges just for fun. It's so cool. It's so cool, and it spins away every time you park. Like, that's just a nice, it looks so classy. And with a dual clutch transmission, you get some fast shifts too. Oh, it's a deep rumble. Get some burbles and pops. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this thing is definitely very sporty. Now, let's get to the thing that I don't like. And that's when you're regen braking and it's doing it automatically on its own, the brake pedal moves. And I hate that. There's a couple of vehicles that do that. I feel like I mainly see that in EVs, but when it hits regen braking, the brake pedal shifts just a little bit. And that to me is really disconcerting because you get used to where the brake is and you're like, I felt it. I put my foot just on the pedal and then like it starts regen braking, the pedal just like shifts slightly forward. I'm like, no, stop it. Right? I do not like it when a brake pedal moves. I think the rationale, the reasoning, maybe the engineering reason is because it's already regen braking, so there is amount of decelerative force. Decelerating? It's slowing down, right? So they need to move the brake pedal to reflect the amount that the vehicle is slowing down, so you don't maybe overslow it, because somebody who may hit the brake with the same amount of force already, thinking it's not regen braking because it's regen braking, and maybe it's too much. I don't know, but I don't like that. And I like triple check. I was like putting my foot hovering right over the brake pedal, letting off, and it just would move a little bit. So I don't like that. I am not a fan of that. If I'm being really nitpicky too, the other thing is practicality is not the greatest. I think the hybrid system, I mean, you got to put the battery pack somewhere. It's got a pretty decent sized battery pack. The trunk's actually not that big for a big luxury GT car, right? And center console storage isn't that plentiful. I mean, these vehicles are designed for daily driving and for you just to eat miles, right? Cross country road trip, go. Drive across Europe, go. And maybe you have to pack a little lighter, so the trunk's not the biggest. I feel like the previous one was slightly larger. Again, probably because of the battery pack eating up some space. But in terms of being a well-rounded, still luxurious and comfortable daily driver, it has the muscle, it has the dynamics, it has the performance, it has the tech creature comforts. These massage seats, very, very nice. I'm up there with some of my favorite massage seats. The Name sound system, also very good. I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of Name, but it's the Bentley really high-end one. I don't know if they do in-home audio. Some of these really high-end sound systems, they also do like speakers for your house that are like $150,000 for a set. Those kind of crazy sound systems, but it was very, very nice. Oh yeah, one more complaint. These should be metal. Because like you fiddle with them, right? And I'm like, they should be metal. The outer ring is, and it feels so cold to the touch, but I love when like in a Rolls Royce, and I thought the older Bentleys, the air vent slats themselves were also still metal. Because like on a really hot, humid day when the AC is cranking, like you could see like condensation on the actual air vents. And again, I'm being so picky now, but like I feel like I remember these being metal. Maybe I think about Rolls Royces. But anyways, that'll be a little thing I would personally improve. Everything else though, I love physical buttons. Like it's great. The seats are so comfortable. Everything is trimmed in leather. Like everywhere you look is covered in leather. Even places that like you would never really touch that, right? It's leather. Usually most cars that becomes plastic or cloth. No, not in a Bentley. The spec on this one was really cool, classy, with the dark blue, dark sapphire exterior over the blue suede leather and the gravity gray interior. Let's see, anything else? Any other final thoughts living with this thing? I mean, $350,000 is a lot of money. Very, very expensive. And yes, we know Bentleys will depreciate. I've done plenty of videos on a couple-year-old Bentleys that are half the original price, and that's just what happens, right? They depreciate. So if you can afford to buy one of these, lease one of these brand new, you probably don't care. If you want a good deal, look for one that's maybe like 2-3 years old, certified pre-owned. You could save yourself tens of thousands of dollars and still get the fantastic Bentley experience. Plug-in hybrid really hasn't taken away. It drives well in all electric mode, is very usable. I did plug it in a couple times at home overnight, and as a result, 235 miles driven this week, 31.5 mpg, and I had my fair share of fun driving around in sport mode, playing around with the hybrid hold system, right? Getting into hold or getting to recharge on the way, or going in full EV mode. I fiddled around with all of the different various different drive modes. So yeah, I've listed my actual legitimate complaints. Now, would I buy one as a daily driver? Yes. If I had the money, this is very, very high up on my list of daily drivers that I would love to have. If I don't want a big floaty luxury sedan and I wanted something just a little bit more dynamic, Continental GT has always been something I've been like, yes, I would love to drive one of these. As soon as they went from the old legacy platform to the newer modular Panamera based one, you could say, right? It just dynamically got a lot better. V8's definitely a bit more sharp. The W12 when they had it was great, but it was like a boat anchor up front. The V8's lighter and you got pretty much the same power and torque. People are going to argue 12-cylinder is way smoother. Yes, you're not wrong at all, but I don't mind this new plug-in hybrid powertrain at all. And I mentioned it briefly, so much better than the V6 plug-in powertrain that I drove in the Flying Spur. That I did not like. I genuinely was not a fan of that powertrain. It was their first stab at it, and it wasn't the right thing. A 6-cylinder, a V6, and a Bentley, it just didn't have that smooth, torquey feel. And on paper, it might have been able to deliver it, but just feel-wise, sound, it did not fit the vehicle in my opinion. Oh yeah, one thing, this is one of those cars that you have to be really careful watching your speed when you're like on the freeway. It cruises at allegedly 90 miles an hour as if you're doing 60. It is so quiet, so comfortable and isolated. A lot of these cars, they're so deceptive with the speed. In some normal cars or in a sports car, right? When you're doing 90 miles an hour, you feel and hear road, wind, noise, right? You like know you're going fast. And these are just like, oh wait, I'm going how fast? Holy crap, I thought I was doing 55, right? Because it just, so you gotta kind of be careful in that regard. So much torque. Put the window down, see if we can hear that V8 a little bit more. Oh. What a beast. What a beast. And this is a great option for those of you who are too bored in your Rolls Royces. There are people. The big floaty cars, it's not for everybody. My friend John bought a Rolls Royce Ghost and even got a black badge. And he sold it very quickly. I'm like, why? It was such a cool spec, such a cool car. And he goes, dude, it was putting me to sleep. It was too soft and boring. I was like, really? There you go, a little bit of tire squeal. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is a really, really good car. I'm going to miss it. And of course, at $350,000, it really better be spectacularly good. So there we go. Living with a $350,000 Bentley Continental GT S, which really doesn't have that many direct competitors because Rolls-Royce no longer has a gas engine powered two-door, right? They have the Spectre, which is all electric. We currently do not have a new version of the Dawn or the Wraith. And then Mercedes has exited the two-door big luxury coupe. There's no more S63, even though that was technically a step down in price, but they had the S65 at one point. You could do the Maybach SL60. I don't really like that thing. Aston Martin DB12 is something that comes to mind, but that's gas engine only, rear-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive, but it's kind of similar price point and ethos. Maybe even like a Ferrari Roma, although that'll probably be even more racy being a Ferrari, right? But this thing is just such a good daily driver, all around everything. Cannot wait to try the refreshed Flying Spur, and also someday I really hope I get to drive a Bentley Super Sports, the new one. Drop the hybrid system, lightweight rear-wheel drive. That's gotta be so cool. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video with the new Bentley Continental GT S. Thanks for watching.